Marshall Wireless, and overall Kyle has a record of 4-6.
4-6, but remember he got off to that 3-0 start, so 1-6 since April 23rd, trying to stop a 3-game losing streak.
A look at the defense. Holiday, Rasmus, and Keel in the outfield. Ludwig comes off the bench tonight. DeRosa, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols, the hero from last night, at least one of them. And the catcher tonight is Yadier Molina. Cardinals defense presented by Auto Tire. And the first pitch of the game is presented by Domino's, and away we go. Cardinals trying to get a sweep. And the first pitch to Rafael Furcal, the shortstop, taken for a ball. Rafael is hitting .266 with 5 home runs and 27 RBIs.
It's a funny offense with the Dodgers, .275 average as a team.
Broken bat, hit to second. Schumacher up with it, over to Albert for the first out.
Dan, their home run leader on the team has 20. Their RBI leader is 63, but they're kind of all bunched in that, everybody in double figures and home runs, everybody around 50 RBIs for Joe Torre. And now with his 4-game losing streak, they still have the best record in the National League, but tied with the Yankees for the best record in baseball.
Orlando Hudson, the second baseman, hitting .290 with 7 home runs, and he's driven in 50. Game last night lasted 4 hours and 53 minutes. And what a game it was, and you wonder how Los Angeles can bounce back. A real tough loss for them, and you wonder if the momentum carries over tonight for the Cardinals here in Game 4.
It's the old story, momentum is only as good as your next day's starting pitcher.
It's very true.
It really is.
Very, very true.
And Joe Torre is hoping his pitcher is good enough to match La Russa's starting pitcher.
Tony La Russa and the Cardinals obviously very pleased with the way that things transpired last night, coming from behind to win that game. The Cardinals were 0-43 in games that they trailed after 8 innings. Manny Ramirez back in the headlines along with David Ortiz. Baseball tested for steroids back in 2003. That list was issued. It was supposed to remain anonymous, but that was seized by federal agents, and a leak today saying that Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz had tested positive back in 03. That pitch is a strike.
Now, if you tested positive, you were exempt from that. You took counseling back there in 03.
Meanwhile, on the field, our Toyota keys to the game. Manny 3 for 13. No homers, no RBIs, 5 strikeouts. Compare that to August of 08. Had a couple of home runs, was 5 for 10. But how things have changed since last August.
Did have a couple hits last night against the Cardinals. So 2 of his 3 hits in this series. And this is a very good offensive ball club, and the Cardinal pitching staff has been brilliant, only allowing 3 runs in the first 3 games.
1-2 pitch, and he got him. A strikeout of Manny Ramirez. Moments ago before our first pitch tonight between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Team Fredbird with some goodies that they were giving out. Skip Schumacher leads it off for the Cardinals, followed by Colby Rasmus and Albert Pujols, who had the game-winning hit last night. Matt Holliday, Rick Ankiel, and Mark DeRosa. Yadier Molina, Brendan Ryan, and the pitcher Kyle Loesch hitting .217. Schumacher, the second baseman, hitting .304. He'll lead it off against Kuroda, and his numbers presented by Marshall Wireless.
Not a lot of decisions, as he's been winless in his last 4 starts, going 0-1 with an ERA at 6.5. Dodgers have won 3 of those 4 starts.
Schumacher up the middle for Kyle to his left. Just got Skip. We talked about the arm of Kyle. It's very, very strong at shortstop. Ramirez, Kemp, Ethier in the outfield. Dodgers defense presented by Auto Tire. Blake, Kyle, Hudson, and Loney on the infield. Battery tonight, Kuroda and Ausmus. Here's Colby Rasmus. We see Skip do this more than anybody else on the team, diving headfirst into first base. Rasmus, what a base hit for him last night. Also made a great catch in center field. With 2 outs against Broxton, their closer, he broke his bat, picked up a game-tying single to send us to extra innings. Having said all that, though, he is only 6 for his last 52.
Well, that heel that's been bothering him is part of that. Got an injection the other day and feeling better about it.
Is Colby still the front runner for the Rookie of the Year? That's questionable. His best competition may come from pitchers.
Right, and one thing that's going to hurt him is the fact that he's not playing every day.
Think about Happ, who is busted on the scene for the Phillies. He now has lost 2 straight. That includes that loss against the Cardinals. How about Randy Wells? He might even get some consideration. Tommy Hanson is a superstar in the making. Ausmus asked for it up and got it there.
Really seen the Dodger catchers many times want to go up the ladder on Cardinal hitters. See Ausmus standing high, and a high target, showing the pitcher that they think he's a low ball hitter, can't catch up the fastball up in the zone.
Albert Pujols, great numbers this year, hitting .323 at 3 hits last night.
Talked to Jeff Weaver and I said, you know, I was a little surprised that you challenged him with a fastball. About on a 3-2 pitch with the base open, that you drop down and throw that pitch that you struck him out on. He goes, well, I was thinking Albert was thinking the same thing. Catcher set up inside Martin, and the ball was over the middle of the plate like this one.
Right center field. This ball is going to get down, and extra bases here for Albert Pujols. Good effort by Kemp. Came up just a bit short, and it's a 2-out double for Albert.
I think Kemp is a little bit confused, as at least 3 times, including last night's game winner, he broke in on a ball when he should have gone back. And this time the ball's going to slice away from him. He looked like he was a little indecisive, didn't want to come in, almost took a little bit deeper route on it, and then realized he had a chance to try and get over there and make the play.
I'll go back to the first at bat by Holliday here in St. Louis. Similar to what Pujols did last night. It was hit right at Kemp, and that's the toughest. They'll always tell you that's the toughest ball to judge for any outfielder, the one that's right at you, especially a center fielder.
And the reason for it being is if it's a little bit to your left or right, you can judge the height of it. But coming right at you, sometimes it's hard to determine how far it's going to carry.
Here's a question for you. You're always trying to find rest for these players. Now, the Cardinals have the luxury of a lot of off days here in August, but when you acquire a player like a Holliday, the uncertainty of his future in St. Louis, when do you try to rest him? Because you're trying to get the max out of Matt Holliday as long as he's in this uniform.
Well, I think one thing, you talk to him and say, you know, how are you accustomed to playing? But then more importantly, you read the body language and see if his bat starts dragging. You know, does he show little telltale signs that he's running out of gas? But I will say one thing: when you're playing the games that they played, the first 3 games of this series, when you have a big crowd like this, you're in, you know, you're starting to get into a pennant race. You energize every day.
1-1 pitch. Base hit into left. Here comes Albert Pujols. They will test Manny Ramirez to the plate. He is safe. Holliday to second base. 1-0 Cardinals.
Banging beauty. Holliday, boy, he really comes out there prepared to play. High average type hitter. He's just hit in every game he's played as a Cardinal, and he's a real hustler. Now, you know when this ball's going out there, there's going to be a great chance that the Cardinals are going to take a lead. You're going to challenge Manny Ramirez any single time. But what you like about Holliday, he knows that throw's coming home, so he's going to trade places with Pujols, get himself out in scoring position, and a heads-up play, hustling all the way, not afraid to dive, slide, whatever he has to do to put himself in a good position. He's a winning player.
Reached base 3 times last night, had a couple of singles and a walk. And now he has reached base 7 straight wearing a Cardinal uniform. 2 outs, and here's Rick Ankiel. You get the feeling in watching Ankiel since the acquisition of Holliday, and he started to turn it around on the road trip, but you know, he can relax now in this lineup. Not nearly as much pressure put on Ankiel and the guys that were hitting behind Albert Pujols.
It's a big, big point. And Rick snapped a season-high 6-game hitting streak last night. He's hit .433 in his last 9 games. That's 7 starts. Had a .440 road trip.
1-0 pitch. And he hits it out of play. And it looked like for a while he was just lost at the plate. But when he gets locked in, ball jumps off his bat. He's able to drive it to the opposite field. He'll mix in the home runs, which he had a couple on that road trip.
It's called in between as a hitter. You know, the fastballs, you're a little bit behind. Then you all of a sudden on an off-speed pitch, you know, your bat is out in front. So I think what they really try to do is just say, okay, be ready for every fastball in the strike zone.
1-1 pitch to Ankiel. Fouled that off his foot. Back to Matt Holliday for a moment. Coming into play tonight, 6 straight, now 7. The last that had 6 straight base hits as far as games are concerned, getting base hits in 6 straight games.
The legendary
John Rodriguez, J-Rod, who's now with the Yankees AAA affiliate, has played in 60 games and hitting .277 for them. John Rodriguez.
How will he be remembered in Cardinal lore?
1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a little slightly behind the Bo Hart era.
Stubby clap.
And a little above Stubby clap.
1-2 pitch to Ankiel. Hits it down the right field line. And foul. But even right there, just good to see him turn on that pitch. Haven't seen him do that a lot, but he's starting to do it now.
Oh, Dan, there was a point that any off-speed pitch, change-up, or anything you could keep away from him, he was in trouble with. And then people were throwing fastballs right by him upstairs. So tried to get him to just kind of concentrate. All right, get your timing on the fastball. Let's establish that, and then eventually, once you have success with that pitch, then you can kind of look fastball and adjust to the off-speed pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Chicago won again today over Houston, 12-3. And Houston on their way to St. Louis. They'll face the Cardinals tomorrow night. Mitchell Boggs will get that start for the Cardinals.
And of course, the Cubs did a deal with their AAA affiliate, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Traded Kevin Hart for Graybo and Orzelani.
A 2-2 pitch to Rick Ankiel. Out in front, pops it up. It is shallow. Right field, Ethier is there. Matt Holliday delivers for the Cardinals here in the first. His 5th RBI wearing that Redbird uniform. 1-0 after 1. Can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast? Catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Catch over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Gorzolani, after being traded by Pittsburgh, will go to the AAA affiliate of the Cubs. But this is a guy that first year in the big leagues won 14 games.
Talented left-hander, and then Graybo is going to be a big weapon coming out of the bullpen.
With the Cardinals and the Cubs, Phillies making moves, the Dodgers also made a move. They picked up George Sherrill, the Baltimore closer, in exchange for 2 prospects, a third baseman, Josh Bell, and pitcher, Steve Johnson. So they get a little relief help. Backhanded by Pujols. And Kyle is over to the bag at first. And it brings in Casey Blake, who had a big night last night.
Yeah, Casey Blake started coming through. He had been really struggling. He was 3 for 5. Still just 6 for 29 in his last 8 games. 210 in his last 27. But the M&M boys of Minnesota very upset that the Twins have not done anything to strengthen their playoff hopes. And they've kind of gone on record, or Mauer has gone on record saying, you know, almost like, hey, if you don't start helping us, I'm not going to stick around here, when I reach free agency. That's a big blow to that front office. 1
ball, 1 strike into their fan base. I mean, that's the one thing that sticks out about that. That's a hometown guy.
Hometown guy is speaking for the fans.
That's right. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike.
Because, the fans are saying the same thing.
And, they're really looking for bullpen help right now in Minnesota. But the Cardinals, thinking about St. Louis here tonight, they got Matt Holliday and DeRosa, completely changed the complexion of their lineup. It's really changed the thoughts of the fan base, too. DeRosa was one move. It's good to see that. Cardinals parted ways with Chris Perez, but then when they pulled the trigger to get Holliday, really big move. Left center, and it's well hit. And this ball is one hopping off the wall. Barehanded by Holliday, and Casey Blake is starting to turn things around. Picks up a 1-out double.
I said last night's ball game, he had a couple hits, he had a couple walks, and I said those walks almost start signaling that a guy's going to get hot. Got a big base hit after that, and then now here a double with 1 out. So pitchers are going to have to start taking it. This is part of Ben Loesch's problem, just not getting the ball down. Had the forearm flexor muscle, missed 36 games, and since that time he's having trouble getting the ball down and getting on the corners.
James Loney hitting .293 with 7 homers and 63 RBIs. Check swing and a strike as they appeal down to third. Mets defeated Colorado 7-0. San Diego over Cincinnati. Boy, Dusty Baker's club really in a tailspin right now. 7-4 the final there. Milwaukee wins over Washington 7-3. The Cubs over Houston 12-3. Big Papi, the go-ahead home run today, ironically enough. 8-5 over Oakland as they won at Fenway Park. Baltimore beat Kansas City 7-3. Same pitch, that one missed in. 1 ball, 1 strike. But even with all this stuff going around with the Dodgers, Joe Torre just very cool, calm, and collected today around the dugout of the Dodgers.
He's in a relatively good mood as always.
And the Dodgers are still hoping to acquire possibly Roy Halladay.
Tremendous attendance out there in Los Angeles. Fan base is energized. They've been so supportive of Manny, and probably will expect that to continue.
They head to Atlanta. And this will be backhanded by Pujols. Underhanded to the pitcher, Gallows. Happy 7th birthday to Mikey Foley, big Cardinal fan, watching at home tonight. And David Eckstein is still his favorite Cardinal, Mikey Foley. His dad works in our crew and one of our favorites. Happy birthday to Mikey. Here's Matt Kemp, the center fielder. Kemp at .312, 13 home runs. He's driven in 56. Casey Blake, the runner at third. First pitch, a strike. I know it's early, but Kyle seems to be a little bit better here tonight.
And we hope that that's an indicator that 4 starts is coming off the disabled list.
0-1 pitch. How about the job last night by Blake Hawksworth? 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 3. Picked up his first ever major league win. Got a cold shower because of it, as the guys had some fun with him. But Blake was terrific last night. And I'll be interested to see now in the next couple of weeks how Tony La Russa uses him after what he did last night.
Pressure packed in extra innings.
So base hit for Kemp, and we're tied up 1-1. Jim, obviously it was Jim Hayes is with us. A big night for Blake Hawksworth.
Yeah, and you mentioned whether or not his status will change in Tony La Russa's eyes. Tony was asked about that before the game, and he said kind of like Adam Wainwright got tested in tough situations. He felt that was the same case for Hawksworth last night. He said, yeah, he moves up a little in his eyes.
I remember, Jim, when Adam Wainwright finally was able to stick, he said it was just because he convinced himself that he should be able to pitch at this level. And you get the feeling that Hawksworth, after all those years in the minor leagues, after something like what he went through last night, he's got to feel the same way, that he belongs.
Yeah, he told me, we had him on the pregame show, he feels real confident, though, going into a tight ball game like that with so much on the line. He admits he was kind of nervous, but he emerges a more confident guy, Dan.
Here is Brad Ausmus, and Jim also, he came in a key spot, which he had really not done for all intents and purposes this year. And that had to be something that stood out for him, not to just be in a mop-up role, but to be in a spot where, you know, you're trying to beat the Dodgers late innings.
As Al would say, he bowed his neck, and you know, he loves the challenge, and in spite of the nerves, he says he went out there, and once he got in the game, he kind of focused on that, and he did real well.
Yeah, it was down to Brad Thompson or Blake Hawksworth. Blake got the nod, and I think right now he can build off of that, not only himself, but his skipper and pitching coach Dave Duncan, you know, as you said, took notice of it, and under the circumstances, you can get more points.
Dave was saying that he's throwing his slider more. They've tried to convince him to throw that more, and I know you noticed that he was keeping the ball down in the previous time that he was on the mound. Just seeking action.
Yeah, he's got the good sinking fastball, and he's got a good changeup. His slider is his 3rd pitch, so if he can successfully incorporate that rather than just a pitch to show him that he has another, if he can use it to get people out, then that's when Dave starts thinking he can really help you.
Happy birthday to Joe Hinkie at the ballpark tonight. Joe Hinkie, another throw over. Look at Matt Kemp. And here's Ausmus, who's found another home with the Dodgers, and they love him because he's a backup catcher now, and it's like having an extension of the coaching staff for LA.
17th big league season for the Dartmouth grad.
I know you always appreciated his work ethic and his defensive skills. He was one of the better defensive catchers for a number of years.
Well, and like you reported last week when we were in Houston, you heard the conversation that there's a lot of people in that organization think at some point he'll be managing the Astros, and he's that type of guy that would want to extend his career in that area.
As you've talked about, and you visit with players, catchers a lot of times make the best managers. Joe Girardi, good example of that. Of course, Dave Duncan is a former catcher that's now a pitching coach.
If you went back several decades, you would probably find he's already going
to Tom's.
But you'd find probably 50% of pitching coaches were catchers. And the trend has kind of changed. Joe Torre started as a catcher.
I liked his conversation the other night with Mike Shannon.
I remember the first time I walked into the Dodger clubhouse. I had just signed with the Cardinals, and oh wow.
Rose to step off, throws to second, throws it into center field. No play for Colby Rasmus, and so Matt Kemp winds up at third base. All he had to do was step off and throw, and he would have had him.
He's a little too casual. First of all, it's the second time that he really let Kemp get a tremendous jump off him, and then you step off and he's a little too casual, and then he rushes his throw, and Schumacher trying to get to the bag, he throws it to the third base side of the bag, and for the error and allowing him to go into third base. There are 2 outs, so if you get the hitter out, it doesn't matter, but really got to pay more attention to that runner at first.
The fly ball into right center. Rasmus on the move, but called off by Ann Keel, the right fielder tonight. Bottom of the second, Mark DeRosa leads it off. Is broadcasting from the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place Casino. Watch player interviews and Tony La Russa plus Pat Paris and Ricky Horton break down the game. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live coming up after the game right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Mark DeRosa, Yadier Molina, and Brendan Ryan for the Cardinals. 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup tonight. And we're all tied up 1-1 as we move to the bottom of the second. Albert Pujols' game-winning hit last night in the 15th inning, which sent us all home, was the 11th walk-off hit of his career and the 6th time that he has done so in extra innings. But the 11th walk-off hit, so he's been coming up in key spots, and somehow, some way, they pitched to him.
9th season. Already 11, 6 times in extra innings.
First pitch to DeRosa is a strike. Now, he did have a walk-off homer to beat the Dodgers 14 innings back in '06, which we flashed back to last night as he knocked it out of the park against Odalis Perez.
Rams signed their top pick, defensive tackle Jason Smith.
Offensive tackle.
That's what I said.
I thought you
OT.
said defensive.
I meant OT. I know there's offense. I'm not sure what I said, though.
All you know is that he's a big guy, and even though you said that's what I said, but I'm not sure what I said.
Well, that's because I'm listening to you.
Okay.
Because I was convinced I said offensive tackle.
2 balls and 2 strikes here on Mark DeRosa. It's okay, Al. We both know that you are a Rams fan. You and Jerry Clinton are very close. Of course, Jerry Clinton spearheaded the effort to get football back to St. Louis, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Not Jerry, we wouldn't have that stadium.
Here's Molina with 1 out. 2 strikeouts for Kuroda. Training camp in full swing now for the St. Louis Rams. We saw the young man that was drafted by the Rams at Busch Stadium. He came with all the other rookies, straight free agents that the Rams signed. In person, he is huge, as you might expect. That's pulled foul. 0-2 the count.
I have not met Jason Brown, their big free agent acquisition, but I understand he is huge.
Well, we'll see what they can do.
And Jason's already purchased a home and settled in here with his family. So I'm sure he'll get involved with the community.
And a swing and a miss. Molina strikes out. Good sinking action on that pitch. And that is 3 strikeouts for the right-hander.
Well, watch this action, as you say, the sinking action. Now there's a good down and in, and there's a bad down and in. It's a down and in where a hitter just drops a bat head and smokes it. And then you see if you get down below that a little bit, it becomes a good pitcher's pitch.
So 2 outs, nobody on, and Brendan Ryan offered at it and a strike. He is the 8th place hitter, and what a series he has had against the team that he grew up cheering for, the LA Dodgers.
He was 5 for 11 in the series and made a bunch of dazzling defensive plays.
1 ball, 1 strike.
At the triple last night, didn't look like he was going to score after the leadoff triple there in the 15th, but Albert came through.
I wonder if he ever touched the plate. I didn't have a chance to talk to him, or if he was even tagged on that play. One and 2 the count. Ouch. He wears that guard too on the left leg. Pointing to the left instep. Let's take a look.
You see how he has the white protector, the guard, shin guard protector, and it might have gotten right underneath it.
Going back to last night, Brendan Ryan was all over the field. Did he catch the plate?
I think he touches the plate. I think they missed the tag. But here you can't really tell. Does it just slide right off the... I told Joe Thurston, I said, good hitting. And he just kind of smiled.
Of course, Joe had the what we thought was a double. It turned into an out after he missed the bag trying to come out of the box and stretch it for 2. Missed the bag at first base.
Looks like it's already swollen. Front of that left leg, they took off the guard, so good luck. He's not too anxious to get back in that batter's box. Now they give him a bigger guard. It was a shorter guard, and it got right underneath it. Now you'll see the much larger one. It offer more protection, but it looks like it's already swollen right in front. See it? This one goes over the top of the shoe.
Imagine how good a player you could have been if you had all this equipment.
I was thinking about Bonds with his protective, you know, the stuff on his elbow, and Biggio, same thing. Which they actually, Major League Baseball did cut that down.
Had to put a limit to 9 inches. As he had, you know, Bonds showed up the one year with one almost went from the top of the shoulder all the way down to the forearm.
And the problem with Craig Biggio is that he would lean over the plate and then take the ball off that protective gear. Here's a grounder hit to short for Cowell. Low throw picked by Loney and out at first. So the Cardinals go in order. A couple of strikeouts for Corona, and we played 2. It's 1-1. Swollen ankle of Brendan Ryan just moments ago with Barry Weinberg, the Cardinals trainer. So he has left this game. They're going to get some ice on that, try to get the swelling down. Ouch. You were right. That thing swelled up in a hurry.
Big time. Who was it? I thought I just saw that broke their foot. Broke a bone in their foot fouling a ball off it.
Julio Lugo takes over at short. I'm not sure.
Reed Johnson for the Cubs.
And that's a strike to Kuroda. 1-1 game here in the third. Strike 2. Kuroda then the top of the lineup for the Dodgers. Cardinals looking for a sweep tonight against LA. Another packed house here at Busch Stadium. Pujols for the third time. Underhands. That's the first out. Take a break from the heat. The Busch Stadium all-inclusive area. Check out the Champions Club, Legends Club, Bank of America Club. All feature a full buffet, beer and soda, plus access to an air-conditioned club that beats the heat. Tickets are on sale as we speak at STLCardinals.com.
Champions Club right there. It's part of that upscale buffet that you get, along with the indoor entertainment, double bars, outdoor seating.
You know, we were trying to think before the game about some of the moves the Cardinals could make tomorrow, and that's a look at one of the all-inclusive areas. But not knowing, obviously, what could happen here with Brendan Ryan, Khalil Green is one of those names that will be brought up here in the next couple of days. 1-0 pitch, 2 for Cowell.
Dan, it's amazing how people worry and fret about a pending decision, roster move, and then possibly out of nowhere you get an injury like that to Brendan Ryan that might put him on the disabled list, and then everything is solved.
And again, that's just
speculation.
right.
Early speculation.
2 balls and a strike. Lugo takes over at shortstop. Schumacher is the second baseman.
Going into the season, a disablement for Brendan Ryan wouldn't have seemed so drastic, but right now he's played so well, that could be a big blow.
Mitchell Boggs gets the start tomorrow, and Todd Wellemeyer listed in the bullpen tonight. And Boggs in his starts with the Cardinals earlier this year made 4 starts, was 1-0 with a 3.10 ERA, but the problem was he allowed 38 base runners in 20 1/3, and opponents hit .317 against him. But his last 3 starts at Memphis for Boggs, very good. 1 run allowed in 21 innings, but he did issue 10 walks. So we'll see if that walk total will drop in that start tomorrow, and he'll have good control. A 3-2 pitch. Right center field. Colby Rasmus there. So 2 outs, and it brings in Orlando Hudson with 2 outs and nobody on. Danny Ramirez on deck.
Dan, the Dodgers no longer at Vero Beach, and then now Baltimore is no longer going to have their spring training in Fort Lauderdale. They're moving, I think, to Sarasota. So
teams in Florida need to get a little concerned about who you play.
Well, the Cardinals are going to be the Florida Marlins. You know,
for years it was the Orioles and Dodgers.
Orioles, Dodgers. You got the Mets now. You got really,
Minnesota, but that's a long travel day.
You either got to go across the state or you got to go to the middle of the state. So the days of having very short travel in spring training are over.
No balls and a strike with 2 outs. Hudson grounded out to second his first time up.
There's a lot of Midwesterners that vacation and winter in Fort Myers. Probably will be happy to hear that, but players aren't anxious to travel that 3 or 4 hours across the state.
Bus rides, and they feel that they've got enough travel during the regular season. Turns into some long days. 1-1 pitch. Good pitch by Loesch.
When you can make pitches like this, a breaking ball that ends up going all the way across the plate and down, repeats it there, and this time he doesn't swing, but he's left a lot of balls up out over the middle of the plate since coming back off the DL.
2-2 the count.
Hitters trying to get their timing back. Same thing with pitchers trying to make their pitches and their location.
And that is a ball.
Molina and Loesch both thought that that was a strike.
Hudson was saying, okay, no problem, I can take this, and I'm out.
Look at it.
Well,
that's kind of a sign right there that when the batter starts to throw the bat away on a 2-2 pitch, he thinks he's out. Everybody thought it but the umpire.
Last night we saw him drop his
be careful
chew out of his mouth and right onto the plate. Apparently unhappy
after a call
right
that didn't go his way.
That's the same pitch, and Hudson didn't swing at that one either. 2 strikeouts tonight for Kyle. Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the Lucis slots. Turned out to be a gorgeous night. Glad you're with us. And a 1-1 game as we move to the bottom of the third. Pitcher spotting in the top of the lineup for the Cardinals. Those Cubbies have been red hot since the All-Star break as they win again today. 12-3 over Houston.
24 runs allowed the last 2 days by Houston pitching.
Mitchell Boggs and Brian Moeller. We showed you those numbers for Moeller last week in Houston and just how well he has pitched against the Cardinals. He has been statistically one of the best against St. Louis.
And they were very convincing, sweeping the Cardinals last week in Houston.
0-2 pitch. Cardinals will face Wandy Rodriguez on Saturday night. Again, that is a 6:15 first pitch. 6:15 first pitch for those of you that have tickets. Chris Carpenter 9-3, Rodriguez 10-6. Initially that was listed as a day game. Then the Sunday game, Adam Wainwright will go for the Cardinals. That is supposed to be Roy Oswald's spot. We will see if he makes that start. 2-2. Tapped foul. I'm looking forward to watching Mitchell tomorrow night and see if that recent run that he's had at Memphis carries over to the big leagues.
And it's usually my experience that with a guy that's been up and down now the last couple of years like Mitchell Boggs, first kind of few times you're a little bit overwhelmed, and then kind of like Blake Coxworth, you kind of all of a sudden realize, wait a minute, I'm as good as these guys. I can hold my own at this league, and you come back a little better mentally prepared. No real difference between the physical, how well you're going to throw physically in AAA or the big leagues, is how you handle it mentally.
So many things that were overlooked about the game last night. How about the starter Pinheiro? Good at bat here, and a fly out though to center. Pinheiro 112 pitches. That was the most he had thrown in 3 years. August 2nd, that is this Sunday when Wainwright gets the start. It's the Build-A-Bear Workshop Day at Busch Stadium. 12,000 kids ages 12 and under with a paid admission get a limited edition Cardinals pup. Number to call 345-9500 or visit stlcardinals.com. After the game you can run the bases. It's a family Sunday. Terrace or pavilion reserved ticket. You get a free hot dog and soda with that ticket. And an ice cream sundae as well. My understanding is Russ Ortiz may have been released by Houston after the game today. Here's a 1-0 pitch.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone picked him up.
2-0 here on the Cardinal leadoff man Schumacher.
Talking with Russ in spring training, he just finally felt like he was healthy.
Slowly hit towards first, and tagged out is Schumacher. 0 for 2. Saturday afternoons made for baseball. This week Fox brings you the national game of the week. Manny Ramirez and the Dodgers head to Atlanta to take on the Braves, the Royals, and the Rays. Yankees square off against the White Sox. Fox Saturday baseball this week at 3 Central on Fox. Matt Garza of the Rays last night against the Yankees had seen enough as Jabba Chamberlain went high and tight on Evan Longoria. Afterwards, Garza said, yeah, I meant to hit Teixeira. He said, I've had enough of it, and more guys need to step up and say, we're trying to protect our best player.
The problem is he'll get suspended for doing what was done for years as a way of players policing the game.
Rasmus into center. And the catch made. Cardinals go in order. We play 3. 1-1 in game 4 between the Dodgers and Cardinals. Coca-Cola recognizes past and present Cardinals All-Stars who have participated in the Midsummer Classic. Collectible 3x5 banner features some of the greats that have ever worn the Cardinal uniform. Brought to you by Walmart and Coke Zero. Starts him off with a breaking ball. Remember in that first at bat, Al, he went at him right with fastballs and struck him out looking.
Bat looks a little slow right now.
And you wonder if that's a lingering effect from being hit on the hand back in Los Angeles about a week ago.
Used that left hand and set out a game. He did come in and on his bobblehead night, he didn't start it, but he pinch hit his first career pinch hit home run. It ended up being his 21st career grand slam.
It has got to be tough for some of these guys with the distractions around them that focus on them to come to the ballpark and try to play baseball, but that's the spot they put themselves in.
And Dan, many times, a guy that's dealing with some controversy, the only time he can really relax is once the game starts, and have that ability to block out everything and just do what he does well, and he's a very good hitter.
325 average despite the struggles here in St. Louis. 11 home runs and 37 driven in.
Didn't want the fastball. Looks like the changeup. I want that up there.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Fastball away.
And Ramirez hits it to short. Lugo up with it. Makes the play. And Pujols stayed on the bag at first for the first out. Back to Russ Ortiz. He lasted 2 1/3 today at Wrigley Field. He was 0-5 in his last 10 starts with an ERA at about 13 in those 5 starts in July. And one of the quotes that I was reading here, he said, "I completely understand. We're at the time of year that they need to win games, and right now I'm just not doing it."
He's a realist.
Yep. So he's out there.
He got the opportunities and didn't take advantage of it.
In the air to left field, Holiday. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football. More features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. So Manny and Ethier have gone down, and here's Casey Blake in the 4th. 2 outs and nobody on. He doubled and scored back in the 2nd. On a 2-out base hit by Matt Kemp. For Kemp, that was his 57th RBI. Much better job tonight by Kyle Loesch.
Following suit, the other starters. And the Cardinal starters have logged more innings as a rotation than any other National League team, and that has an effect on your bullpen. Positive effect.
And Molina pointing. We had a play like this last night.
Hit him out of the batter's box.
Yeah, that's a play like we saw with Orlando Hudson on a punt. You might remember last night that was popped up in the air, but he was in foul territory, and Blake wants an explanation. So does Joe Torre. Let's take a look. 1-1. St. Louis. Let's go back to this play. I wonder, did this even hit him? Now, he is in fair territory. If it did hit him, then yes, he is out. But a lot of English on this ball, and it takes a hop that it kind of looked like it would hit his foot, but then Molina really sold it well.
Yeah, and I think that's what Joe Torre came out and argued and said, look, you didn't call that until you saw Molina brought it to your attention. And because I think that ball had that odd spin, it looked like it hit him on the back foot, but the replay showed it did not.
Right.
As Joe loses the argument.
Cardinals catch a break, and Pujols leads it off. Back to the Cubs for just a moment. They, on their homestand, won 6 of 7 from the Reds and Astros. They outscored them 53-25. They hit .310 with 15 home runs. So that Cubs team is starting to put it together, and they are rolling. So are the Cardinals.
That's it. And the Cardinals must win today to maintain sole possession of first place.
What's it going to be like next weekend in Pittsburgh? The players that are left, and will the fans even come out? They are few and far between anyway, but now with those deals that they've made, you have to wonder the kind of support that Pittsburgh is going to have here for the remainder of this season and beyond. Same thing with Cleveland. A lot of unhappy fans with Cleveland too. DeRosa trade, Cliff Lee. First pitch to Pujols. Take it for a ball upstairs.
Well, how many times can you have a rebuilding program? I mean, this is about, it's about the 6th different 5-year plan.
Pujols reaches forward, 1 ball, 1 strike. Essentially, it's 2 decades of losing.
Now, some of those 5-year plans never got general managers and managers were fired, so they never got to implement the full 5 years, but nearly 2 decades of losing baseball.
One pitch to Albert. On the ground, fair ball, backhanded by Casey Blake. Well done. He's a good player, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I mean, he's been in a little drought before he started coming out of it last night, but they rave about his defense, clutch hitter, and there he makes a nice play, sets himself and fires across the diamond.
It's another guy from Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, a couple of years ago, they were 1 win away from going to the World Series. That team now has been dismantled.
Well, the Pirate general manager came from the Cleveland front office.
Mark Shapiro.
Shapiro's at Cleveland, and
right.
it's Huffington, isn't it? Neil Huffington.
Huntington, yeah.
Huntington in Pittsburgh.
Well hit, right field. Could it be his first home run? Matt Holliday just over the wall. 2-1, St. Louis, and Matt Holliday has his first Cardinal home run.
Both RBIs in this game after bat of Holliday. He kind of seemed like he knew it was a home run. Not that he showboats or anything else like that, but he just kind of felt like he got enough of it. And he's going to get his first curtain call if I know these fans.
Is he something else or what?
He's about what I expected. Remember when he was with Colorado, he hit .500 in this ballpark and against the Cardinals.
And he is above .500 now. He came in hitting .500. Tonight he's 2 for 2, and he's got both RBIs. He has made some kind of difference. Just a jolt to this franchise, the fan base, the clubhouse.
He's one of those guys that, he could carry a big load on his shoulders and welcomes that opportunity. Other guys, just want to kind of be the spare parts.
Here's a 1-1 to Rick Ankiel. 372 feet. He needed every bit of it, didn't he? Just over the wall. 2-1 pitch. Ankiel, fly ball to center. Kemp in front of the track. 2 outs. Go back to Matt Holliday in this pretty swing that he gets.
Right off the end of the bat. And look at that with that beautiful sky and into the seats just over the wall. Nice follow through that full extension.
Exmo Camp presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway.
I just wondered how far south from the ballpark is Hot Shots. 1 block?
1 block. As DeRosa swings and misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. DeRosa has struck out, and the Cardinals have struck out 3 times against Kuroda. Reaches for it and taps it foul.
Seven-game hitting streak. All 7 games that he's played as a Cardinal, he's hit in. So, yeah, 13 for 24.
1-2 pitch to Mark DeRosa. Now he's been somewhat overlooked because of the addition of Holliday, and when Lugo is done.
Lugo's done a nice job, but DeRosa's still trying to get his groove.
Called 3rd strike. Didn't like the call. Matt Holliday 2 for 2, couple of RBIs. Nice look there from our crew. It's 2-1 St. In baseball history, presented by Schnucks, the commish Rick Hummel is inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Still working hard in the press box here at Busch Stadium. Started covering the Cardinals in the late 70s, early 80s. One of the great writers in the United States covering baseball. 2-1 Cardinals. And one of the great people, too. What a nice man.
Yes, he is.
He went in with quite a class. Cal Ripken, Tony Gwynn. Denny Matthews, the radio voice of the Kansas City Royals, was also inducted that year. 2 guys, a rarity these days. Cal Ripken, all his years spent with Baltimore, and Tony Gwynn, all 20 years in San Diego. And he's now the head coach at San Diego State, and we've heard so much about Steven Strasburg, and he managed and coached Steven Strasburg, did Tony Gwynn.
Talked to him a little bit during the All-Star break about Strasburg.
Ground ball pulled foul.
It's very favorable and said he's the real deal. And
take his word for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
3,000 hits for Tony Gwynn. We hoped it would happen here in St. Louis, and he was hoping that as well. It happened, though, in Montreal.
We almost saw the rare The rarest of the rare. A 500 home run and a 3,000 hit game.
This is well hit into right center. And Keel. Good jump, good speed, makes the play. Cal Ripken was first ballot Hall of Famer. He had over 98% of the votes. And the only two players better as far as the percentage of votes to get inducted was Tom Seaver, and then Nolan Ryan was first. Cal Ripken really changed the perception of shortstops, though. 6'4", about 230 pounds. The bigger version of those guys.
Oh, it had to be at least 10 years ago. You know, I went to the Players' Choice Awards. You know, the Players Association had, and Reggie Jackson in the 70s, you know, was as big a player as there was on the field. And Reggie presented an award to Alex Rodriguez, playing shortstop at that time, made him think of it. And Rodriguez towered over Reggie Jackson, and his shoulders were almost as broad.
Cal Ripken, 2,632 consecutive games. A bruise to his left ankle. That's what they're calling it. Speaking of shortstops for Brendan Ryan, listed as day-to-day. So, broken bones, it doesn't sound like, and just a lot of swelling there. They'll try to get that down. Hopefully he'll be all right this weekend.
But you know how an ankle can linger on. A good ankle sprain sometimes takes longer to recover from than a broken ankle.
Into center field, Colby under it, makes the catch.
And it's not a sprain. He just fouled it off that top of his foot, but it was heavily swollen.
I was looking at some numbers of Tony Gwynn during the break because I saw him doing a kids clinic. He did a great job too, Al. You should have seen him with some special needs kids in the right field corner of the home run derby day here at the ballpark, and I was thinking about how many home runs, the most that he had. It was 17. You know, right fielder, you think of that being a power position. Most he had in a season, 17 home runs, but obviously he was just an unbelievable hitter.
You know, that might have been the next year after a discussion with Ted Williams. You know, he went and talked to Ted Williams. Ted loved it when all great hitters would talk to him.
Holiday trapped it. Base hit for Osmus.
And Ted Williams talked to him about hitting for more power. And the next year he went out and he had his career high in home runs.
Right.
When you see the play, so he comes in on this play, but definitely traps it, and a little bit lucky as he kind of turned his head, but it ended up in his glove and kept it from allowing Osmus to get into scoring position.
Exmo Camp presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill. Remember too, you know, he was old school. Tony Gwynn, you'd go in to the Padres clubhouse and he'd be sitting there watching film of his at bats and having a couple of beers with his brother, and they'd be in there for a while just talking baseball.
And many times he was watching film before film came into vogue. Times his wife would take a lot of those films.
That's right.
A little bit like Didi Pujols. His wife was a pretty good hitting coach.
That's a base hit into right for Kuroda. And Keel only plays to get it back into Schumacher. So first and third, Osmus in safely over at third, and Kuroda is 1 for 2.
Everyone was hoping that Anka would pick up that ball cleanly and have a chance to show off his arm, trying to throw out Osmus going to third. This is where Foucault, as a leadoff man, is extremely dangerous.
It looked like Kyle was going to sail through this inning. You got Loney to fly to right, Matt Kemp fly to center, then Osmus a base hit to left, Kuroda base hit into right. And 2 plays that were almost made. That was about a foot away from the glove, it looked like, for Pujols. And with Holiday, he came up just about a step short from making that play. Racal tonight is grounded out to second. He's also flied out to center. 2-1 Cardinals as we play here in the top of the 5th.
Call with his great speed and his ability to kind of slap the ball.
0-1 pitch. Popped up. who wants it. Lugo is there. So is DeRosa. And Mark DeRosa makes the catch. The Dodgers have stranded 3, and it's 2-1. His drinkability. Moeller goes for the Astros tomorrow. They'll be in town for the first of 3 against the Cardinals. And the Redbirds counter with Mitchell Boggs. It'll be his first start since returning from the minor leagues. Boggs 1-0, Brian Moeller 7-6, and we're on the air at 6:30 tomorrow night. It's our Bud Light What's on Tap.
Don't you get the feeling that now with the reinforcements the Cardinals have offensively, that a lot of the fans would like to see Mitchell Boggs again and see how he's progressing.
Absolutely. Big crowds expected this weekend, but good seats still available Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
You feel for Wellemeyer being taken out of the rotation, but after 20-some starts, can't get it together consistently. You have to move on.
And he understood the move.
Sure. I mean, it's like the Ortiz deal. At least Wellemeyer still has a role with the ball club. It just happened to be pitching out of the bullpen now.
And I think in many ways, Al, he probably welcomes the move just in the fact that he can go and work on some things too. Every 5th day and you struggle like that, it's a long time just to sit around and think.
Yeah, and I'm not one that says you go to the bullpen to figure out things. But in his case, I think it is the best option for him.
Molina struck out first time up. Kuroda struck out 4. Cardinals have been out hit again tonight, 4-3, but they lead at 2-1. Next road trip, 2 games against the Mets and 3 with Pittsburgh. A couple of off days for the Cardinals upcoming in the first week of August, and Cardinals have just played a ton of games. This is game number 105 already for St. Louis.
What are we, 5 games up on the Cubs? Played 5 more games than they have, so
it could be a difference.
Sure. Playing good baseball, and then all of a sudden they're going to have an off day that may disrupt that winning streak. Where the Cardinals, played, just were really pushed hard in the first half, not having many off days, especially coming right out of April. And Tony always demands his team to play hard at the push, but they'll have plenty of rest.
Ground ball hit to short for Kyle, can take his time and shows off that very good arm. I've always enjoyed watching particular outfielders or even infielders when they know they have time, like a Furcal, to settle and throw, and they show off the arm. I mean, it's fun to watch the home runs and great pitching, but sometimes seeing that is fun to watch. And going around the horn. Oh, in the lights.
Yeah, in the lights right there. Yeah, when he first came up and really had a chance to show off that arm, he was fun to watch. Kind of reminds you of Sean Dunston.
One of the best arms we've seen at shortstop.
Sure, remember the Cubs picked Sean Dunston ahead of Doc Gooden. And I remember a reporter asked Whitey Herzog about that, expecting Whitey to kind of blast the Cubs, and he said Dunston had a better arm than Gooden.
1-0 pitch to Lugo's, now filling in for Brendan Ryan. Base hit out to left. Lugo steps on the bag at first in a wide turn, but he'll stop. 1 out base hit. 6 is a serious number. When the Cardinals score 6, you get a 20-ounce coffee, fountain or frozen drink for just $1 the next day, and On the Run at Mobile. Win or lose, when the Cardinals score 6, you score 25-cent drinks at On the Run. Let's see if Kyle can help himself here.
It's a 6-game hitting streak now for Lugo. He's hit in every game that he's played in as a Cardinal.
Lugo is at shortstop after Brendan Ryan fouled a pitch off his ankle. It swelled up, so he was taken out of the game. So Casey Blake, the third baseman, in on the grass. They'll hold Lugo over at first. That's Loney. 1 out here in the Cardinals' half of the 5th. And Lugo does give the Cardinals little element of speed. Recently, as 07, he had 30+ steals, I believe. In 2007, he had 33. Good at bat first time up for Loesch as he flied out to center. Chops it back to Corona, but the sacrifice is good. Sack 1-3 on the play that brings in Schumacher.
Skip snapped his career-high 12-game hitting streak last night. He was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Still has hit in 20 of his last 23 games and a .341 clip.
So 2 outs, and Schumacher is 0 for 2. Lugo, the runner out at second base, and Skip takes a ball. Grounded to short and tapped back to Corona, who then tagged out Schumacher. 0 for 2. Schumacher hits it to short for Kyle. Settles and throws a strike over to first. And Lugo is left stranded. Cardinals have stranded 2. We played 5. 2-1 St. Louis. West have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe easier. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Orlando Hudson takes a strike. Hudson was called out on strikes back in the third. He's also grounded out to second. In the sixth of a 2-1 game.
Good ball player, the former multiple Gold Glove winner. A reserve on the National League All-Star team this year.
To Albert. He'll take it himself, and Hudson retired for the third time. Here's Manny.
Let's listen.
Really no give in the boos of these fans. Usually it's the first time get booed pretty well, and then not as much. But with Manny, it's been pretty consistent.
And you know, it's very hard for Cardinal fans to boo anybody unless they're wearing the Cub uniform, and they're not even booing the individual, they're booing the uniform in sort of a left-handed compliment. But Manny's kind of gotten under the ire of some baseball fans, and loved by his own.
He's really had a nice color of red and some of the extensions of his dreadlocks. Oh, and 2 the count. On the outside corner, ring him up.
Sure could have. I know you can't grow a beard, but I think you could grow the dreadlocks.
I think I could probably handle that one.
Yeah, so that's your winter assignment.
I'll pass.
You have no choice.
I gave you an assignment to ask Joe Torre about his hair rules or policies,
and I forgot to do it.
I'll have to ask when we go to LA.
I did. We talked about you remember last night when Manny ultimately was thrown out the plate. I wondered if Joe had thought about putting in Juan Pierre to pinch run at that time. You know, Juan Pierre did a great job during Manny's suspension, and he basically said no because he thought the game was going to last longer.
Left center field. That'll stay in the ballpark. Colby there to make the catch. Spend the night under the lights of Busch Stadium. Always a popular night. Cardinals camp out returns Friday, September 25th. Courtesy of Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats. Tickets go on sale Friday. For more information, visit STLCardinals.com.
Remember the leadoff triple by Brendan Ryan in the 15th? Manny basically said that he was playing too shallow, and that's why it took him too long to recover, and Brendan, running hard, got the triple.
That pitch misses in to Andre Ethier.
Roach has done a good job containing the first 4 in the batting order. He's just had trouble with the lower third.
Kemp, Osmus, and Kuroda 3 for 6.
First 4 in the order are 0 for 11.
The 2-0 pitch. Pretty good staff that Joe Torre has assembled, with Larry Boa over there at third, Mariano Duncan, and Don Mattingly, Rick Honeycutt.
And you know, Bob Schaefer, his bench coach, and for Joe Torre, there's Honeycutt back there, but Schaefer's one of those old pros, you know, been around a long time, every capacity, and you'll find that there's guys that, you know, were fringe major league players, or sometimes those coaches never got to the big leagues, but boy, they are a wealth of information and so helpful to to any manager. And Schaefer's one of those great guys.
3-2 with 2 outs.
Ken Howell is their bullpen coach. He was an outstanding reliever.
And a walk. That's the first one issued by the Cardinal starter. You mentioned that Joe Torre is not shy about going to his bullpen, and they have added George Sherrill.
He is not here tonight. He will join them tomorrow in Atlanta.
Be a big help for them.
Yes.
Cubs made a couple of deals today. 2 outs, and here's Casey Blake. Liner into right center. That gets down for a base hit. Blake is aboard for the second time with a double and now a single. Here we go again, where Kyle has gotten the first 2 and then a couple of base hits. In this case, a walk and a base hit.
Slider, but it stays up and in the middle of the plate. Those usually are hit hard. All right, just trying to find the trouble, trying to get the final out. There's Boa. I was asking him about Billy DeMars. Billy DeMars was one of those type of Bob Schaefer type guys, but Billy DeMars spent hours trying to teach Larry Boa how to hit. When Boa first came up, you know, it was kind of a badge of courage for him to even get to a ball in play. But he ultimately ended up being a pretty darn good hitter. And one of the things he did, he wore out a couch down in his basement, just hitting that couch all winter long. Swinging a bat, trying to get better arm strength, forearm strength. But Billy DeMars was so helpful in making him a real, true, very good major league player.
What do you think of him as a manager?
Excuse me?
What do you think of him as a manager? Larry Boa? He's so fiery and doing it in Philadelphia.
I mean, I love that aspect.
He was perfect for the media there.
Yeah.
I mean, they just eat that up.
And I just remember how much fun I had, you know, at the vet. You know, our bullpen, the visiting bullpen was behind the shortstop area, and just see him just get upset. He played the game with such passion. That's why he's really a Brendan Ryan fan.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. I used to get the biggest kick out of watching him in that dugout. The reactions of bad plays or walks just be completely exasperating. I mean, he was just so upset at other times. He'd be throwing things.
You know,
he's a character.
Those guys fit with certain style of ball clubs, and other ones they don't fit. Sometimes you need that guy that kicks everybody in the tail and tries to get everything they can at them, and then you get other guys that that destroys them.
2-1. Moni tonight is grounded out to Albert Pujols and also flied out to right. Also needs to be on the other side too, Al, an adjustment for the player. So the players got to adjust and have a little give too.
Yeah, and today's players are a lot different.
A 2-1 pitch. He's fallen behind now, 3 balls and 1 strike.
I think that's it. A lot of it is, you know, falling behind the count, not executing pitches when he needs to.
Pulled foul. Pitch count now nearing 100, just over 90. Cardinals will have Rasmus, Pujols, and Holiday coming up in their half of the 6th.
3-2 pitch. Seemed like when Roche kind of followed Dave Duncan's sinker theory. You know, he was having a lot of success last year where he was throwing a lot of sliders.
Time is called. Over the stretch of these 4 games, at times the crowds have really gotten into it more so than other parts of the season. Do you agree?
I definitely think that.
A 3-2, runners go. DeRosa only play to Albert. Dodgers have stranded 5. Big bats coming up. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Curtain call for Matt Holliday back in the 4th inning with his first Cardinal home run. He's got both RBIs tonight. And it's 2-1 St. Louis. He is due up third as Rasmus will lead it off, and Pujols sandwiched between those two. Colby has struck out swinging back in the first. He's also lined out to center. 0 for 2. So far, another well-pitched ball game, both sides.
Both sides. And the theme, especially to about this point in the game. Cardinals are 3-0 in the first 3 games, or won all 3, but they've been a real close contest, and until later on the Cardinals break them open. First 2 games, 16-1 differential. Last night, 15 innings, a 3-2 Cardinal win.
And the Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in their bullpen. I believe that is Kyle McClellan.
Yes, it is. Kyle Loesch is right around 100 pitches.
Kyle came in last night, stranded 2 runners in the 9th to keep that 1-run game. That was huge for the Cardinals.
Came in with first and third and only 1 out, right? I think he's had, what, 17 base runners now, and only 1 has scored.
Colby skies one to center field. And last night for the 25-year-old Kyle McClellan, inning in a third, and no run scored upon. Aflac trivia question as Albert gets ready to dig in. Who holds the modern National League record for strikeouts in a single season? The National League record for strikeouts, and this is for pitching. The great Sandy Koufax back in 1965, 382.
It'd take some starting pitchers 3+ years. And that'd be a pretty good strikeout man.
3 Cy Young awards for Sandy Koufax, and he won the Triple Crown for pitchers in those years: wins, strikeouts, and ERA. Unfortunately, had to retire at such an early age.
Wow, left-hander early in his career. You know who got sent down to finally make room for Sandy Koufax? A guy named Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, that's right.
Tommy, I think, was 0-4. But they had some young wild left-hander that finally had to say, okay, he's going to learn up here. And when he learned, and he had a window of about 8 years, he was phenomenal.
Pujols too short for Cowell. Up with it. Sandy Koufax, 4 no-hitters as well with those 3 Cy Young awards.
A tremendous curveball. He had a great fastball too, but it was a great curveball. Does it bear repeating the story I told you last night?
Sure.
Talking with the Dodger coaches last night, and Sandy comes to spring training with the Dodgers, and one of the young pitchers said he wanted to talk to him, asked about his philosophies of pitching, and after Koufax told the young man all this great wealth of information, he said, well, I guess it'll work for you, but I don't think it'll work for me.
But does it really shock you, though? I mean, it's unbelievable that a guy would say that, but
nothing shocks me with today's players.
0-1 pitch to Matt Holliday, who is homered tonight and has an RBI single back in the first inning. It came with 2 outs to drive in Pujols, who doubled with 2 outs back in the first and then was driven in by Holliday. This year, Tim Lincecum leads baseball with 183 strikeouts. And Koufax 382 back in 1965. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I mean, Lincecum is not even halfway there.
And Dan, I don't mean to just say in my era this always happened, because we had a #1 draft pick, the Cardinals, back in the early 70s, named Ed Kerpiel. And his first major league spring training, his #1 draft pick comes to spring training. He hit around a batting practice, and Tim McCarver, trying to be a veteran and try to tell the kid what to do, sit there and said, hey, after you hit, you go in the outfield. He goes, no, I'm a hitter. I'll just stay right here at the cage.
And a strikeout of Holliday, and it sends us to the 7th. It's 2-1. AT&T switched to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. By Chrysler, the summer clearance is here. Get your local dealer today and come see the great deals we built for you. And by the new Pina Colada Fortista Freeze from Taco Bell. It's seriously refreshing. Matt Kemp will lead it off against Kyle McClellan. In relief of Kyle Loge. And it's 2-1 St. Louis. Top of the 7th rolls in. Another good ball game tonight. Two teams that very well could be headed to postseason play. A fly ball to Colby. He's got it for the first out. Kemp is 1 for 3 with an RBI single back in the first. The line on Kyle was 6 innings, and you see the Chevy called to the bullpen for the starter for the Cardinals tonight. 1 run allowed on 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 2. 43rd appearance for Kyle McClellan. Here is Brad Ausmus. Fly to right, also has single. I'm sure the Cardinals looked at Kyle Ocean and said, got enough tonight. The fact that he did walk after getting the first 2 outs in the 6th, he did walk Ethier, then the single, then he got the ground out of Loney, and that was enough. Again, he's still trying to come back after being on the DL for a pretty good amount of time.
And the pitch count was nearing 100. You know, he's lost 6 of his last 7 decisions, so you kind of make this a real positive outing.
Up the middle on a base hit.
And he's pitched some good games during that time. As Colin, I'm sure, a little upset with himself that he doesn't knock that ball down, and Ausmus is 2 for 3.
Joe Torre will go to his bench, and popping out of that dugout, Juan Pierre. That'll be it for Kuroda. On his bench, he's got Loretta, Pierre, Castro. Juan Pierre. We saw Mota last night. So a lot of pitchers last night. Last night's game, 4 hours and 53 minutes, as you see Mota getting loose. And that still wasn't even as long as the longest game a season ago, which was 5 hours and 9 minutes at New York. Cardinals played 15 innings. That was the longest since that 2003 game, the 20-inning game against Florida. And Juan Pierre was part of that game. He was with the Marlins back then. Hitting .313. No home runs, 25 RBIs. Really did a nice job when Ramirez was out with his 50-game suspension.
He hit .315 during that time. That play during there, he put himself among the league leaders even today in stolen bases. So he batted .318, 14 doubles, 21 RBIs, 31 runs. He had 21 steals in those games, the 50 games that Ramirez was suspended.
Strike 2, he couldn't hold his swing up. Signed a big contract, and Dodgers felt they needed some pop after Andruw Jones really failed in Los Angeles, and they went out and got Manny Ramirez, so that cut into the time of Pierre.
One of the nicest guys in the game.
Curveball pulled foul.
He's bounced around, and he has some excellent tools. His speed. It's always been a little bit of a throwing liability, but every team he's always been on, people really enjoyed him. He's such a good guy, and many of his former teammates are always pulling for him.
Half of the time that when he's in the cage, it's spent bunting. And finally, Ausmus reads the play and advances to second base with 1 out. So the tying run in scoring position here for Pierre. That's a wild pitch charge to McClellan.
Slider right there, and he gets by Yachty, and had to be a huge separation for Ausmus to think he would had enough to get down to second. It was a pretty big delay.
Two. Lugo, nice play. Gets up and not in time. The speed of Pierre couldn't get out of the glove, and once that happened, base hit. Lugo saves a run. It's first and third with 1 out. Let's go pitch by pitch, presented by Chevrolet here on Juan Pierre.
Well, Pierre has a great speed, so you got to be careful throwing the ball down there. You threw the fastball first, then a slider, now a breaking ball. He rolls over on it, foul ball. The ball that got away, another breaking ball, fastball up the middle. Lugo was playing towards the middle, but that split second it took him to pop up, didn't get a handle on it, and Pierre with that great speed, it's hard to throw him out.
I had the speed of Furcal, and DeRosa is playing in over at third. Joe Torre, no stranger to using a squeeze play, but not with a left-handed bat. Much easier to detect for McClellan. The wild pitch has come back to haunt him. The pitch does not get away. Lugo flips to the second baseman Schumacher for the forced play at second. Instead, first and third, 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Nobody warming in the Cardinal bullpen.
Kyle's been such a good pitcher for the Cardinals that they have a lot of confidence in him.
2-0 pitch. DeRosa off his glove. And this game is at least tied as Pierre is being waved in. And here comes Juan Pierre. Relay to the plate is not in time. Off the glove of DeRosa. And the Dodgers have the lead 3-2. Ball was smoked off the bat of Furcal.
You got to play in because of his great speed. You see him go up there, and not sure if he got a little bit of it or not, but line drive, playing in, gets down, is going to slice away from Holiday. Holiday, who's teammate of Juan Pierre, he knows his great speed. He gets it back into the cutoff man as quick as possible, but it's too late.
So RBI double for Furcal. RBIs 28 and 29. 3-2 Dodgers. This is Hudson.
From behind last night a couple times. Could take that one in 15. Looks like they have to do the same.
Remember, the Cardinals do have that big bat of
Ludwig.
Ryan Ludwig sitting on the bench.
Got some pretty good bats in the lineup too.
Yes, they do. 1 ball and strike on Hudson. Was grounded out. Called out on strikes in the third and grounded out to first.
Trevor Miller is now up in the Cardinal pen. Mota continues to throw in the Dodger pen.
1-1 pitch. Here it comes. Back-to-back nights here for Kyle McClellan. Tony La Russa extending the right-hander. Three and 1. Remember, that was one of the concerns for the Cardinals this year, and how much they used McClellan going back-to-back and how much of a workload he would see this year. He told me earlier in the season, mentally and physically, he was probably fried at the end of last year in September. A 3-1 pitch to Hudson.
It's his 3rd game in the row. No, I missed Tuesday's game. The Carpenter starts, so Monday, Wednesday, and now Thursday he's pitched.
3-2 and a walk. Out to visit Dave Duncan, and Manny Ramirez due up. Manny tonight grounded out to second, called out on strikes, and also flied out. So he is 0 for 3. Trevor Miller continuing to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. Runners in scoring position this series. First 3 games, 4 for 25. And tonight, 3 for 7. Pretty telling about this offense. Has been stagnant here in these 3 games, and the job that the Cardinals have done in key spots pitching. Saw Trevor Miller for a third of an inning last night. But now it's Manny. And Ramirez fouls it back.
Slider speed on that first pitch, inside on him. Cutter speed.
Oh, pitch. 72-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Yeah. Tonight the cutter was highly successful for McClellan, and many times we see that that curveball being a strikeout pitch.
0-2.
A little harder breaking ball. Dave Duncan can tell you what to do, but you got to do it.
One-two to Manny. In the air. Foul territory. Pujols over. Albert reaches in and makes the catch. Throws to third. And almost got a double play. As Furcal tags up from second to third. An outstanding catch once again from Albert Pujols, and the fans appreciate that.
A great concentration. Looked like a Dodger fan trying to help out the Dodgers and interfere with Albert, but Albert's glove was a little bit of reach. Watch the one in the blue there trying to reach out there, but gets it, snaps, and throws. Not ever looking. He just tried to get, he knew Furcal was going to tag up on the play and almost turned it into a double play. So reaches out there. You see the fan in the blue reaching also, but Albert wins. 1 foot up on the tarp, and here comes Trevor Miller.
The heads-up play too to throw to third, as you mentioned, realizing Furcal would tag up. Our Chevrolet call to the bullpen, Trevor Miller, when we return. Yeah, presented by Infinity. 3-2. The Dodgers lead the Cardinals. They've just taken their lead, and Manny Ramirez, one of the big stories baseball today. Cardinal right-hander, the starter, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. Matt Holliday, his first Cardinal home run, first curtain call as well.
Trevor Miller coming in for the 41st time, 2-0 record, good ERA, but you look at that opponent's batting average, and that's only part of the story, as left-handed hitters are just 113 against him, 7 for 62, a 113 average.
Andre Ethier pops it up on the first pitch. DeRosa calls off Molina. Good job by Trevor Miller, getting used to that. Time to stretch. 3-2 LA. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser Select, full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Gorgeous night for baseball, and the Cardinals once again will have to come back tonight as they trail by the score of 3-2. Three 8-0 for Los Angeles, 2-4-1 for St. Louis. And Rick Ankiel will lead it off for the Cardinals. Ankiel is flied out to right and also flied to center. There are the numbers on Guillermo Mota. 45th appearance. His opponents are hitting just .205 against him. A little bit of everything in the bullpen. His years in the major leagues. He's been a former closer. Ankiel, DeRosa, and Molina for the Cardinals. They're half of the 7. Still a long ways to go in this ball game. Ankiel has just tied it up with a long home run into right field. 8th home run, 29th RBI. Tied up, 3-3.
No doubt about that one, was there? Woo. He jumped on that one. What a way to greet Mota. Once again, we're going to have a little fun here tonight. The Cardinals battling back, and it's our Hardy's prime cut of the game. As you mentioned, his 8th home run, his 29th RBI. This crowd wants another curtain call, and this monster blast deserves one.
DeRosa strike. Clark tonight has struck out twice, 0 for 2.
And Mota, he is pitched for whatever reason so much better at home than on the road.
That is one of the longest home runs hit to right field we've seen in a long, long time.
Yes, it is. A little cooler temperatures too. The ball doesn't travel quite as far, but there was plenty of distance.
0-2 on DeRosa. As he hits it in the air to shallow right field. Andre Ethier.
Nathan Clinton is here with our disclaimer.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Very good. Very good. That's Nate Clinton. We got Riley Clinton up here.
We were talking about Jerry earlier.
Jerry Clinton's couple of his grandkids. Wave to mom and dad. Say, Riley, gotta wave.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Molina. Just missed. Molina has struck out and grounded out. He did a good job with that.
Yes, he did.
.431 feet distance of the home run.
Brad Thompson warming up the Cardinal bullpen. He was the only reliever not used last night.
Molina. Another lazy fly ball to Ethier. 2 outs, and it brings in Lugo.
I guess that kind of means that Wellemeyer is in the background there. Is going to be your long man tomorrow.
Cardinals with that long game. Reyes and Miller, Hawksworth, the 3 innings. McClellan, Franklin, Mott, they all pitched.
Now there's no reason why it has to go 15, right?
No reason at all, but we're tied up 3-3 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Cardinals have been out hit 8-5, and this is Lugo. Lugo singled his first time up back in the 5th inning.
Stavanoa is on deck if Lugo can extend this inning, and Lugo went in after Brendan Ryan fouled the ball off his foot, has a bruise on his ankle.
And the 1-0 pitch. Taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Rick Ankiel has tied it up.
Mota was telling me today that recently he had talked to Juan Encarnacion. And Juan he wasn't sure whether he was going for medical reasons or not, but you saw him in Miami. He was going to be going to Montreal for what he thought may be some medical procedures, but still tragically, for all intents and purposes, his major league career, his baseball career is over.
It's a shame.
Yeah, and really trying to regain that full use of his eye.
Two balls and a strike on Lugo. Does have a home run. That was in Philadelphia. Nick Stavanoa has moved to the on-deck circle. The 2-1 pitch. Reached for by Lugo, and that is a fair ball, and they get him by a step. Sends us to the 8th. Rick Ankiel has tied it up. 3-3 here at Busch Stadium. and a reliever this year. Opponent's hitting .272. Ricky Ankiel has tied it up with his solo home run. 3-3. Here in the top of the 8th, Casey Blake, James Loney, and Matt Kemp for the Dodgers. Another big crowd here in St. Louis. They've been treated to some great baseball the last 4 nights. Playoff baseball between the Dodgers and Cardinals.
And they could meet in the postseason. Brad Thompson, you know, this is only his 3rd appearance since July 11th.
You get concerned about control and location. Will he be as sharp? Got a crowd tonight of 43,263. 43263.
He went nearly 2 weeks in between appearances, and it didn't phase him. And then he pitched back-to-back games in Philadelphia, and his first time pitching in 5 days. But he has that ability to throw strikes.
First pitch to Blake is a strike. Blake is 2 for 3 tonight. Doubled and scored in the 2nd, and singled back in the 6th inning.
How about the job Trevor Miller continues to do?
Up the middle and a base hit. And Miller faced 1 hitter. That was Ethier. 1 pitch and got out of it.
Told you, Blake, we got to start. We got him hot for Atlanta.
And Al, the thing that, as you mentioned, that stands out, the base hits are one thing, but when a guy's walking, that usually means he's seeing the ball pretty well.
And that kind of gave me the indication last night, where he ended up with 3 hits, but he had a couple walks, and then you thought that he was about ready to turn the corner, and another 3 hits again here tonight.
And with Thompson, you hope that sinker's working and get the double play off the bat of Loney. Loney tonight has grounded out twice and also flied out, 0 for 3. Rockies beat the Mets 4-2. That is now a final.
It was a doubleheader, I believe. Mets took the first one 7-0, and Colorado comes back and takes the nightcap.
First pitch is a ball outside. Situations like this for both sides with the extended game last night, you wonder, you know, for both managers, they know that pretty much anybody's available, but who they really want to go to that has a better chance because of their arm and how fresh they really are. Swing and a miss, and see you later.
Tries to protect here, but the ball just sinking away, and then you got that weapon behind the plate. Lugo receives the throw and just waiting for the tag.
Let's see if he actually did tag him.
Well, usually when the throw beats him, you know, they say, okay, it's close enough. And then all of a sudden, that rare time, they'll say, no, you can't do the phantom tag. And you go, wait a minute.
Last time I checked, you still have to step on the bag and you have to tag the runner.
But if you get in the vicinity, many times they'll
give
a call to the defense.
A 2-2 pitch with 1 out, nobody on. In the air to right field. 2 outs. Big pick me up there for the Cardinals. Molina gunning down Casey Blake. Big pick me up for Thompson too.
Well, the fewest stolen bases against is the Cardinals, and that's because so much of that because of Molina. But not only does he stop the running game, they usually don't even try.
Thompson's spot is due up first for the Cardinals, and then Schumacher and Rasmus. Line shot at a base hit past Lugo into left. Got to figure that Joe Torre is looking at the left side of his bullpen at least at some point in the bottom of the 8th.
He's got the lefty warming up now.
Hong Chi Kuo. So 2 outs, and here's Ausmus, who is 2 for 3. 2 hits have been singles, and then he scored a run back in the 7th. Short lead at first by Matt Kemp, and here comes the 0-1 pitch. Good pick by Yachty. Really haven't talked enough about the play of Molina last night. Throw by Ludwig, and knowing that Ramirez could take him out. Basically, it's a blind shot, and yet to stay in there with that, to block the plate, but also the throw. It's not an easy catch to make.
Sort of a snatch and grab. And then you kind of fall away from, in case he wants to come barreling into you, so it doesn't, you get the brunt of the contact.
Colby over to get it, makes the catch. Dodgers strand another runner. 3-3. Keel with his 8th home run and 29th RBI of the season. Another packed house, over 43,000. Second inning of work here for Mota. Nick Stavino will be the pinch hitter for Thompson. Scoreless inning for him. Cardinals have used Kyle Loesch, McClellan, Miller, and Thompson. Now will we see Mota for just 1 hitter and then bring in the lefty to face Schumacher and Rasmus.
See Ryan Franklin warming up, so he will come in and pitch the top of the 9th. Will it be a save situation, or will it still be a tie game? Our big lead.
Cardinals with Reyes still out there in the bullpen. Franklin warming up. Wellemeyer's there. Hawksworth and Mott.
Well, you know, Hawksworth is not available. I almost wondered if Thompson would pitch more than just 1 inning.
I guess Tony is feeling that he could be covered if need be with Wellemeyer.
And I thought that he would kind of have Wellemeyer. He is available tonight, but he is reserved for tomorrow. But
1 ball, 1 strike on Nick Stavino. Cardinals half of the 8th, 3-3.
Don't you worry about tomorrow.
2 balls and 1 strike. Pinch hitting this season. He does have a home run, 4 for 14. The 2-1 pitch. Right below us, 2-2. Are we headed for extra innings for the 2nd consecutive night?
No. Mike Kelly, our outstanding producer, is a big fan of extra innings.
2-2 pitch. Stavanoa out to left. Manny on the move, and he won't get it. Goes to the wall. Stavanoa to second, and he will stop there. Pinch hit double. And Ramirez may have gotten a little piece of it, but it gets by him, and Stavanoa winds up at second base. The go-ahead run.
Hits ball out here. A couple weeks ago, he hit his first pinch hit home run. Second the Cardinals. This one gets right off the tip of his glove, and then he can't. Takes him a while to recover and stop. And I know Stavanoa thought about going for 3. It would not have been a good idea. And Joe Torre will make the pitching change now with the lefties coming up.
Leadoff double. And Stavanoa represents the go-ahead run. And Hong-Chi Kuo is into the ball game.
You know, he was activated on Monday, pitched a perfect inning, pitched in last night's game. He did not pitch in the regular season after September 14th due to a sore arm. He was on the 60-day disabled list with that same left elbow strain. But he did have an outstanding year when he was healthy. 1.69 ERA last season to lead National League relievers and ranked 7th in the major leagues. He's from Taiwan.
Well, let's see how the Cardinals want to play it here. Got a good bunter and Schumacher at the plate. Nick Stavanoa is at second base. Jeff Suppan of the Brewers placed on the 15-day disabled list. Strained left oblique. Did that swing in the bat start on Monday. And Ludwig is on deck.
Schumacher had his career high 12-game hitting streak stopped last night with 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. But still has been a very productive hitter. In 20 of his last 23 games, 341.
Mercal trying to keep him close to the bag at second base. Blake As that pitch is a strike, Blake is in at the on the grass at third, and so is the first baseman, James Loney. Bottom of the eighth of a 3-3 game. Cardinals out hit 10-6 tonight. A chance here to go back on top. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talk about how important home plate is when late in the game or an extra base. See when his last sack was more than a year ago. But on a base hit to the outfield, Stavinoa should not be thrown out by any of the 3 outfielders. And bring in that football mentality if you need to run into a catcher.
Strike 2.
Skip really not getting out there in a timely fashion, so he's really still kind of stabbing at the ball, not getting the bat out in fair territory.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Schumacher tonight is grounded out to short, grounded back to the pitcher, and grounded to short again. One-two pitch. Bunts it towards first. A good one. With 2 strikes, he gets the bunt down. Stavinoa now to third, and here comes Ludwig. Good job by Skip. Ludwig will be the pinch hitter for Colby Rasmus.
Ludwig scored the tying run in the 9th and drove in the tying run in the 11th. And also cut down a runner at home plate in the 12th. He's hit in 19 of his last 22 games at nearly 400.
Infield in. Ludwig, first pitch taken high. Cardinals here at Busch Stadium. Fans can't see it, but they have a couple of batting cages, so it's not like these guys come off the bench and they're not loose or ready to roll. Taking BP, Mike Eldretti is part of the coaching staff. He's helping out. And Pujols is on deck. 1-0 pitch. Ludwig fouls it back. Longtime Cardinal fan Larry Narkowitz enjoying Cardinal baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest.
Roncoso, a right-hander warming up, so this will be the last batter for the lefty.
One pitch. Blew it by him. 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, when he's healthy, he's got a plus arm.
And health has been the concern.
Sure. This came off the 60-day disabled list on Monday. End of last season, you know, the elbow was barking.
1-2. One-two pitch. Ludwig just got a piece.
Rasmus calling time, talking to his lefty. Cole has been with the Dodgers organization since '99. Signed as a free agent for the Dodgers back in '99 from Taiwan City, Taiwan.
One-two to Ludwig. struck him out. Ooh, is that big there? Now you have Albert.
Set up away. Ball just going by him. And you know there's going to be a pitcher change. Maybe not. You're going to talk to him with base open and Holiday, but pick your poison. Had a right-hander warming up, but Bull just struck out a pretty good right-handed hitter.
Pujols, Holiday, and then the lefty Ricky Ankiel. These lefties 283. That's a little bit surprising, huh? The righties 338.
They will intention passing, and this sets a new franchise record, 35th intentional pass for Pujols.
So you walk Albert here. Remember, then you have another base open if you wish to walk Holiday and go with Ankiel.
Yeah, you can do that. You've won four world championships. You can do anything you want. That's a Hall of Fame pedigree that Joe Torre has, and so he can do whatever he wants. They're going to do the same. They're going to walk the bases loaded.
Isn't this something? Back-to-back intentional walks. You do not see that very often.
No, you don't, but that just shows you the kind of respect that Joe Torre and other managers going to have for Pujols and Holiday. And we were talking about the other day when it was Ludwig or Ankiel tonight, somebody's going to have to protect Holiday. And the strategy makes a lot of sense.
The risk that you run is a chance at a big inning, but you get the lefty-lefty matchup. And last time up for Rick Ankiel was in the seventh. A long home run. That tied it up. Busch Stadium on their feet. The inning started with a double by Stabenow, sacrificed by Schumacher. Ludwig struck out. Intentional walks to Pujols and Holiday, and here we go.
Thurston, left-hand hitter on the bench, and your backup catcher, Jason LaRue.
Better swings from Rick Ankiel.
Better swings, but you know, a week ago he would have no chance on any of those pitches above the belt. So he is swinging the bat a lot better. He's geared for the fastball.
Now he has him 0-2. Tries to waste one here. You never know about the wild pitch.
Osmus, a good defensive catcher back there, but that is always the possibility.
Oh, to Ankiel. Struck him out on 3 pitches. The moves pay off for Joe Torre. It stays 3-3.
Stadium. Don't forget, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, Pat Paris and Jack Clark standing by at Lumiere Place. Rick Ankiel trying to get back in the swing of things. A bad day for Manny, plus Jack the Ripper's take on tonight's ball game. It's all coming up after the game. For now, we send it back to Dan and Al, guys.
All right, so Ryan Franklin takes over for the Cardinals. And Franklin will face Mark Loretta. Loretta will be the pinch hitter. Loretta, Furcal, and Hudson. Great numbers once again for Ryan Franklin this year. His 39th appearance, 3-3 game here in the top of the ninth.
CRA is second among Major League relievers. 23 saves, tied for fourth in the National League.
First pitch to Loretta, and we're underway in the ninth, and that's taken for a ball. Strategy risky, but pays off for Joe Torre. And you see Loretta 0 for 14 with a couple of strikeouts against Ryan Franklin.
Well, Loretta has really been struggling. He's an outstanding player, but he's struggling in the pinch hitting department. His last 30 pinch hits, only one hit.
1-1 pitch, foul back, 1-2.
Does have 3 walks during that time. Hitless in the last 13 pitch hitting appearances, just 1 hit in the last 30. Going 1 for 27 with 3 walks.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Saw Loretta in that 10-0 game pitch for the Dodgers the other night.
It was his second career pitching performance.
No
ERA.
Milwaukee. Ryan Ludwig, who stayed in the game in right field, makes the catch.
Not a blown save last night, but they did score off of Franklin.
1 out, and here is Rafael Furcal. Had the big hit back in the 7th that scored 2. Flight out to center. He's popped out to third and also grounded out. 1 for 4 on the night.
It's like they have Broxton and McDonald warming up. So if it remains a tie score, McDonald will pitch. If they take the lead, they'll bring in their closer.
All that baseball last night, no home runs. You've seen the Ricky Ankiel home run. Matt Holliday is homer tonight, his first wearing that Cardinal uniform. He has accounted for 2 of the 3 RBIs.
We kind of assumed that when that ball, our game went deep into extra innings, that it would be resolved by a home run. Wasn't the case.
1-1 pitch and a ground ball hit to Schumacher. Pujols has to get back to the bag. You see, he thought about going after it. And a much easier play for the second baseman. Brings in Hudson, who has walked tonight, and he's 0 for 3. Grounded out to second. Called out on strikes back in the third. And grounded out to the first baseman, Albert Pujols. 0 for 3. They're even watching in Saskatchewan tonight. Cardinals baseball, and pretty soon Kelly Chase will be headed back to work with the Blues. Here's a ground ball to Albert. He's got it. Another chance to win it for the Cardinals. Mark DeRosa leads it off when we return. Cardinals. Will be followed by Molina and then Lugo. Joe Torre last inning decided to intentionally walk Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday to bring up Rick Ankiel. 3 pitches, the lefty Quo was able to strike out Ankiel, the move that paid off. Joe Torre and the Dodgers trying to salvage 1 game in this series. It's been highly entertaining for these fans here at Busch Stadium. Our player of the game, Matt Holliday, 2 for 3 with a home run, a single, intentional walk, and 2 RBIs. Our player of the game is presented by Budweiser. Here's DeRosa with 6 home runs wearing the Cardinal uniform.
Sound like you're begging. Or just stating the fact.
Stating the facts. How about 7 right here? Oh, 1 pitch to DeRosa. Just missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got him with a changeup. Pops it up into center, and Kemp puts it away for the out. There's Todd Wellemeyer getting loose. He would be facing the heart of the order. Ramirez, Ethier, and Blake if we get to the 10th.
You know, Dan, not only did Yachty have a great game behind the plate and everything, but just think how tough he is catching 15 innings last night and right back out here today. Their outstanding catcher took the day off, and I'm sure that Russell Martin wanted to play in this game, but they have a quality backup in Brett Ausmus like the Cardinals have in LaRue. But Yachty is so tough and always ready mentally and physically to play.
That's a little bit high.
"15 innings is almost 5 hours of squatting. Takes a toll on your body."
1-1 pitch. In the air to shallow right. James McDonald, 24-year-old from Long Beach, California. He was selected in the 11th round of the 02 draft. He actually was the Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year the last 2 seasons. Julio Lugo with 2 outs and nobody on. Lugo playing in place of Brendan Ryan. Brendan Ryan fouled the ball off his ankle. It swelled up. He's listed his day-to-day. Just a deep bruise, so he was lifted from the game.
You remember James McDonald Sr.? Young pitcher's father. He played for the Rams.
A 1 pitch to Lugo. 0-2. A tight breaking ball there.
Did appear in 4 games last year with the Dodgers.
Nothing in 2 the count on Lugo. He is singled tonight, also grounded out. Just missed on the outside corner.
His numbers in the minor leagues really don't indicate, they'd be a 2-time minor league player of the year. His
500 pitcher.
Yeah, over 5 years, 27-27, 3.41 ERA.
1-2 pitch, and Lugo hits it into the seats. Out of play.
Ryan Franklin swinging a bat, but not only is Wellemeyer throwing, but Reyes is also throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
Here's a 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
As an indicator that Franklin's a decoy.
A 2-2 pitch.
Where Springfield at Arkansas was postponed due to rain, so I want to say a big hello to Bob and Wanda Taylor down in Little Rock. Hope they're, Bob, you're feeling better.
Good at bat here by Lugo.
Been a nice little pickup when you think about Lugo and the fact that he's under contract for next year, and the Boston Red Sox are paying his $9 million salary.
The Cardinals against left-handed pitching look completely different with this lineup with Lugo in it. Holiday and Lugo, those two really help in that spot. The 2-2 pitch. Lugo, left center field. At the track, and it's caught. Gave it a ride. Extra innings for the second consecutive night. Innings. We move to the 10th. And Ryan Franklin, despite the fact that Wellemeyer was getting loose, as well as the lefty, Franklin stays in the game.
Well, he only threw 9 pitches in his first inning of work, so he'll lead off. So his last inning, and this is a crucial inning. So I like this, extending your closer to a second inning. Got the guys right behind the Dodger dugout with the Manny Bean Manny t-shirts. We came to see Manny Bean Manny.
Cardinals have been very aggressive with the fastball with Manny Ramirez. Ramirez has struck out looking, grounded out to short, flied out to center, and also popped out to first.
86 miles an hour is, cutter speed, slider speed. And Manny's bat looks slow. One swing of the bat and he can untie this game.
That's why Franklin has just been so good this year. He's got that pinpoint control. He's got so many different pitches to get the hitters out, but it's location where he's putting the baseball, and it's just been phenomenal this year. Once it low, the 1-2 pitch. Ramirez lifts it to left field. Manny hitless tonight.
got in on him just enough. And now Tony will make the change and bring in the lefty Reyes. Only through 13 pitches, should have plenty to go tomorrow, even if it's the third day in a row.
Denny's Reyes coming in when we come back. Manny Ramirez tonight 0 for 5 with a strikeout, and in this series the Cardinals have done a tremendous job keeping him in check. 3 for 18 with 6 strikeouts. Basically a non-factor.
Non-factor, and of course Cardinal pitching has been very good. Now it's Reyes' turn, his 49th appearance. He leads the Cardinals in appearances, 14 holds. Batting average has been creeping up a little bit, but still he can be extremely effective. And Trevor Miller, the other lefty, did a great job retiring Ethier back in the 7th inning. Now see if Reyes can do the same.
It's on one pitch by Miller. Got him to pop out to DeRosa. That was in the 7th inning. It's 3-3 here in the 10th. Good pitch by Denny's Reyes. Ethier tonight. Grounded out, popped out, walked, and flied out to left. Against lefties, hitting just 189.
He had his season high 9-game hitting streak stopped last night.
0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. What a tremendous series this has been for the Cardinal fans.
A lot of people told me last night that one of the best games they've seen in many years, and very highly rated. I think the highest of the year.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. Casey Blake on deck. Cardinals will have Reyes' spot. Schumacher and Ludwig due up.
Mollemeyer had been up, but he's set down now, and so Reyes will get Blake on top of it.
2-2, hit out of play. Much of this crowd is stuck around. 43,263. Oh baby, they've been treated to some great baseball here this week.
Emotionally have to be a bit worn out.
2-2. Up and in, 3-2.
Out ahead of him with a couple sweeping breaking balls, and now got it back to a full count.
And he walked him. Can't do that. Comes in and walks the first batter.
Quite sure I understand why they got ahead with a breaking ball and then just kept on trying to throw fastballs.
There now is Casey Blake, who is at 3 hits tonight. Doubled and scored in the second. Singled in the 6th, singled in the 8th, and then was caught stealing. So 1 out and a runner at first. 3-3 game here in the 10th. Fastball misses in. Crowd a little bit restless now.
It's fastball, and that looked like a pretty good pitch. Doesn't get the call, but the Ethier, the fastball, he just didn't have much command of it.
One-0 pitch. Out to visit Molina. 2 balls and no strikes.
The way Cardinals use the 2 lefties is, you know that Tony has more confidence in Reyes retiring right-handed batters than Trevor Miller. But Miller has just been deadly in retiring all left-handed batters, or the situational left-hander, and then you got Reyes, who can get the lefties out, and they have confidence in him to get a righty out and a lefty on deck. And then you start talking about Willomeyer country.
Second time that he's been up and getting loose.
Ideally, you would, and he's had experience in the bullpen but not for a couple of years. Ideally, you'd want him to start an inning with no runners on.
Sure. 2 balls and a strike. You're talking about warming up and trying to get loose, trying to get ready out in that bullpen.
Step off and throw to first. Almost caught Ethier napping.
How about a double play here?
I like your thinking.
Another check. Here's a 2-1. Base hit into right. Ethier stops at second base. Casey Blake, a 4-hit night.
Really slumping the first 2 games of the series. Started coming alive last night. 3 hits and now 4 again tonight.
James Loney, the hitter now. Twice he has flied to right. He's grounded out to third and grounded to Albert Pujols at first, his first time up. Go ahead run at second base. Andre Ethier is there. First and second, 1 out. First pitch, no. Instead of check on the runner at second base. Reyes comes in relief. Franklin, the Cardinals had 6 innings from Kyle. And you had McClellan coming in 2/3 of an inning. Miller a third, Thompson an inning, Franklin an inning and a third, and now Dennis Reyes. Runners in scoring position, hitting .321.
He leads their team with in RBIs.
Good pitch, 0-2. Paints the outside corner.
Got ahead of Ethier and then kind of played around and it eventually walked him. Now he's 0-2 on Loney. Let's see if he can put him away. Need him to roll over and get that double play ball for you.
0-2 pitch. Little check swing. They're going to try to advance and a throw to third, not in time. Now the question was, they appealed. Is it a strike? Right now, there's no indication that it is. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
See if he offers at it. No, he didn't. Ball gets away. I didn't think he did. Then seeing that replay, there's no question he did not. Big play as they both advance. The second and third with just 1 out. Take away that double play.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. Another outstanding ball game. Both sides here tonight. Extra innings here at Busch Stadium as time is called. Big Cardinal fan Dave Kaplan watching tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. That'll roll foul. Runners scored 21 out of 29 times for Loney in this spot. Just 1 out. Runners at second and third. Let's see what Reyes wants to go with here. Going inside and fouled away. Good pitch in on the hands. You've been consistently hitting that outside portion of the plate.
Good pitch with that when you're ahead in the count. Set up away maybe. Big gap out in left center.
Just about everything a final in baseball tonight, with the exception of this ball game. San Francisco and Philadelphia 3-1 there, and the Sox lead the Yankees 2-1 top of the 8th. 1-2 pitch. He got him. Strikeout for Dennis Reyes. One of the biggest of the night.
See that fastball right by him. And now with Wellemeyer is going to be coming in this as part of a double switch.
So here comes Todd Wellemeyer in a real key spot. Takes over at third base, and Todd Wellemeyer takes over for the Cardinals on the mound. Wellemeyer this season as a starter, 7-9, high ERA, and a high average. You see the home runs, 17 he's allowed, 327 the opponent's average. You are asking an awful lot for his first relief appearance this year to come in this spot. Extra innings, runners at second and third.
His first relief appearance in a couple years.
Busch Stadium is the scene in St. Louis. Gorgeous night once again for baseball. Weather has just been ideal. And extra innings for the second consecutive night. Dodgers and Cardinals tied up 3-3. There's 2 outs. And Wellemeyer's in. Joe Torre intentionally walked Pujols and Holiday to get to Ankiel. That move paid off. Will this move pay off for Tony La Russa?
You know, managers can make all the right decisions, but it's up to the execution of the players. Wellemeyer has walked a lot. His last relief appearance is back in 07.
He brought up a very valid point, though. If you bring him in the game, ideally you'd like to bring him in to start the inning and potentially let Reyes finish the inning. We shall see. Here we go. First pitch. Misses on the outside corner.
Dan, many times, you know, you change roles like this, especially when, you know, it doesn't do any good when you come into a mop-up situation. But if you're Wellemeyer, you really want to come into a game like this where you, if you do well, you could get rewarded with a win.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. Inning started with Franklin. He got a fly out of Ramirez to left. Reyes came in, walked Ethier. Blake the base hit, Loney the strikeout, and now Matt Kemp.
But the whole idea is, you know, you've got to get people out in order to build that confidence back up.
You worry about a wild pitch with Wellemeyer too. A liner in the left field, and this will get down. 2 runs will score, and the Dodgers have themselves a 5-3 lead.
And when you don't do it, then you just kind of cave in. Misses location, supposed to be a slider down and away. It just hangs right in the middle of the plate. Right out here to left field. And that lead, or that walk, the 1-out walk, the first man that Reyes faced comes around, and so does Casey Blake because of the wild pitch.
So here is Ausmus. Certainly the big question after this game, why not stick with Reyes and bring Wellemeyer in this spot? That pitch taken a little bit low.
Well, in all fairness, you know, Reyes hasn't been pitching that, in my mind, he hadn't been pitching not only tonight, but overall he's had his problems. But, you know, you worry about walks with him. He's given up base hits. But that the walk and the wild pitch produces 2 runs.
Fly ball to Matt Holliday. Five to 3, Los Angeles. Cardinals, though, got to him last night when he made his debut. He blew a save against the Cardinals in 05, and then 4 years later, same date, you see that? He blew the save last night. On an earned run and a wild pitch in each. Perfect symmetry, the comparison of the first and last blown save, both against the Cardinals for Broxton.
Any way of turning back the clock?
Leads the major leagues with 74 strikeouts or relievers and ranks second. His opponent's hitting just 149 against him.
And his blown save was yesterday, because it was early enough in that game we still hadn't passed the midnight, as the game finally ended today.
Matt Kemp, one of the heroes possibly for the Dodgers. And here's Thurston, part of that double switch. So Thurston, Schumacher, and Ludwig.
Still
trying to get it to Pujols and Holiday.
Yeah, still got the bullets coming up. If you got a couple, if you can get on base, extend the inning to Albert and Holiday.
Thurston looked to have a double last night, but he missed the bag at first. It was appealed by Los Angeles, and it paid off as he missed the bag.
Trying to catch the inside part of the first base bag and just missed it by inches.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Thurston. Two balls, no strikes. Joe Torre saying they desperately need this win. Try to stop this losing streak. They'll have a late night as they'll fly to Atlanta. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Joe Thurston. Quiet Busch Stadium crowd. Catches the corner. 2-1.
He can throw hard. 300 pounds. Only 24 years of age.
Two-one pitch. 3-1.
He wouldn't walk him, would he?
Oh boy.
Manager and pitching coach, all they can do is put you out there, and then when you're closer, you're pretty much like, okay, stop managing.
3-1 to Thurston. Here it comes. 3-2.
Thurston, pretty good fastball hitter.
A 3-2 pitch. And he walked him. Tying run will come to the plate. Look at Joe Torre in that dugout. He said, are you kidding me?
It just, I mean, a walk is, it's so much worse than just a single. You know, it just opens the door.
And now you're thinking about Pujols having a chance, and maybe Holiday. You've got Ludwig on deck, then Albert and Matt Holiday.
Stay out of the double play.
Skip 0 for 3. Sacrifice back in the 8th inning. He got down the bunt with 2 strikes. Thurston a short lead at first. That pitch nowhere close.
Honeycutt out to talk to him as they do not like what they're seeing. But, you know, when Joe Torre was here and he had big Lee Smith, and Lee should and probably will make the Hall of Fame eventually. But, you know, Joe used to say, I bring in the big guy and I just stop managing. But sometimes that's when you have to manage even more so, when you bring in the big guy and you realize it's not their day. But after the 15 innings last night, you're in extra innings tonight, you may not have that luxury. You just have to go with it. Kendall come down and talk to Schumacher. Honeycutt out to talk to Broxton.
Pitch to Skip Schumacher. Here it comes. Schumacher, a fly ball out to left. Ramirez makes the catch. Thurston back to first. He's not the smoothest guy out in left field.
You just kind of wonder, will he get to a ball?
One out, and now Ludwig. Let's get back to last night.
And there's Ludwig. The game went, they tied the game up. Those plays are running together, aren't they? Maybe I said a game winner tonight.
Ludwig is swinging a miss. One of the key at bats tonight was back in the 8th inning. Ludwig was up with a runner at third. That was Stavanoa after he led off the inning with a double. And eventually he was left stranded. Ludwig came in, runner at third, and only one out and struck out. 0-1 pitch to Ryan Ludwig. 96 on that last pitch. Pujols on deck. Against Broxton, he's 2 for 3 with a strikeout. This has been some kind of series between the Dodgers and Cardinals. One pitch. Taken for a ball. It's now 11 pitches so far in the inning for Broxton. Houston in town tomorrow night for the first of 3. We're on the air at 6:30. Ludwig, left field, Ramirez.
A little casual there, and then remembers I got to get it back in.
What is he doing?
Kind of a semi-basket catch. Watch him catch this ball there. Now, okay, there's a runner at first base, Manny. It's a tying run. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. That's Manny being Manny.
Here's Pujols, who is 1 for 8 against Broxton. Broxton from Augusta, Georgia. Second round pick back in 02. And this is power against power right here. Pujols and Broxton. Albert had the game winner last night.
You can see now Thurston's at first base, and they're almost defying him to take off.
You take second base and then leave first base open. But now with Holiday here, you really run the risk. And even Ludwig, too, when he was in that spot.
The one thing is Thurston's going to get such a huge jump that he could score on a single.
0-1 pitch. Pujols taps it to Broxton. This should do it. The Dodgers will salvage a game in this series. 5-3 our final tonight as they win it over St. Louis. Kemp, the big hit off of Todd Wellemeyer. Turn the page on the Dodgers and say hello to Houston tomorrow night, and the postgame show coming up. Final in 10 innings, 5-3.